Hi guys. Um, I think it's essential in ZBrush to customize the user interface and especially to set up your hotkeys. It'll speed up your workflow massively and it's just an essential thing to do. So let's get right to it. This is my custom stuff up here, but I don't really use it anymore. I generally now just press tab and I work in this mode. Nice big screen. Screen space. This is my favorite software of all time, but the user interface is shit. Well, it's not shit, it's weirdly laid out. For example, stuff like mirror and weld is something you'd use very often, but you need to pair it with mirror in a completely different tab, because often you don't know which side you're going to mirror. So if you mirror the wrong side, so you mirror first, then mirror and weld, and check which side is the one you want. In my custom menu, well, I can't do it now. It's a bad example. Let me, well, let's start. First of all, how do you make hotkeys? It's very, very simple. That's what's so great about ZBrush. You can hold down Control and Alt and click on anything you want, apart from ZModeler's interface. And after you've pressed Control Alt, click the key you want it to be. For example, I want mirror and weld to be Y. There we go. Well, it doesn't work now, but it's Y. My hotkeys are set up as 1 is standard on the keyboard. Well, where else? 2 is clay build-up. 3 is move. 4 is damn standard. 5 is H polish. I mean, it could be whatever you want, but these are the brushes I use all the time. And I switch between them very frequently. SK Clay Fill, which is, I'll find the link and then post it beneath the video afterwards. Lovely brushes by SK. I don't know who the person is, but it's great. 7 is Chisel, which is good for hard surface stuff. Then Alt 1, 1 is standard, Alt 1 is Inflate, because for me, how I work, I relate the two, hence them being together. I don't have my tablet now, I'm using a mouse, but you know the standard brushes gives you this result. Inflate is not, I don't want to say similar, but the way I work, I see them as similar for what I will use them for. Alt 2 is clay build-up. Alt 2 is nothing to do with clay build-up. That's just me, because I use these primitives in hard surface a lot. 3 is move. Alt 3 is move topology. Topological. For example, let's say you have these teeth. Normal move, they'd all move together, right? Move topological, you only move whichever you're hovering over, which is brilliant. I use this. I can't live without this guy. Alt 4 is another SK brush, cloth, whereas 4 is damn standard, cutting in. Cloth is, well, it's a very good cloth brush. It's not the best way to show it without using my tablet, which is not in front of me, but I conflate the two. 5 is edge polish. Alt 5 is trim dynamic. They work together, right? As someone, I think Michael Pavlovich maybe, or someone from the Pixelogic team said, trim dynamic and hard surface usually define, whereas H polish is refine. I've also got Alt R for trim adaptive. So why R? Because R is underneath 5. So it's 5, Alt 5, and Alt R for these this trio of awesomeness for hard surface stuff. 6 is another SK brush, clay fill. I love this one because it cleans up noise beautifully. Let's go to this guy. I don't want, You can use flatten and smoothing, but I find the best brush so far to clean this up would be clay fill. It cleans stuff up without leaving any noise. It's a beautiful brush. Look at that, so easy. Wonderful. I mean, alternately with smooth, that would be, no, it's just out of the question. With flatten, it's just too much work. Too much bullshit to get. So this brush, look at that. I want to smooth this out. There you go. It's absolutely beautiful. What else? QW, well, I haven't changed QW, ERTY because they're essential to operate the program. Then A would be smooth. S is smooth peaks. A is smooth, S is smooth peaks, as you can see there. Now A, normal smooth, let's say I want to smooth this out. It completely smooths out. Undo that. I'm pressing S now. Smooth peaks, we only get rid of the peaks. This is a great way to create textural detail, but you want to smooth it out a bit without losing everything. I use this brush all the time, I can't live without it. And then D is pinch. Why? Because it's just, for me, the thing with hotkeys is you don't want to move your left hand that's resting on the keyboard far at all, because that defeats the purpose of the hotkey for me, unless you're one of those guys who's really good at knowing where your hand's resting without looking at your hand. On the keyboard, I mean. And, you know, kudos to you, fucking A. For me, I have to look down if I have to move my left hand away from that Control-Alt 1 to 6 area. So, I use all the hotkeys I can, stuff that's essential in that area. Oh yeah, the little tilde key is live boolean, but how often do you turn that on and off? Tab is default. Doing that, and F1, F2 I use a lot. Sometimes it was like a brush I don't have in my own menu. I just press F2, especially at work when I use a Cintiq. I don't have a Cintiq at home, but I have one at work, and it's a brilliant piece of kit. Give me one sec. Okay, so again, to make hotkeys, you simply press Control-Alt, and probably best to tap that, and it pops over here, and your favorite brushes, whatever you want to use, Control-Alt, tap that, and see it says up, well, Operation Cancel, but see what it says up there, press any key combination, and you just do that. It's so simple. I wish all software was like this. The only thing that ZBrush is missing for me is like a Maya-like hotbox thing. You can make your own pop-up menus, like this. These are my custom menus, but they don't work like hotbox menus. They're not quite as fast, I find. Wow, that's minor stuff. Anyway. So I used to use all of this stuff up here, and there's nothing wrong with that. I just don't like working like that. I don't like taking my cursor to menu items. I hate it, actually. I don't know why, I just don't like it. So if you're like me, you just want to work like this and use your hotkeys. 1 to clay build up, 2 is clay build up. 1 would be standard brush. 3, move. You know, it's so quick to switch between modes. Normally I would go down here, and it's crap. 4, damn standard, then 3, move. Everything is quick. You feel like you're playing with clay. It's absolutely awesome. I love it. Now, you can't have hotkeys for everything. I mean, like, maybe technically you can. I've not really counted this stuff, and I can't be bothered. Let me just undo that. But certain lesser used stuff I placed in my custom menu. I made the one menu Alt Q, and the other menu Alt W, just because it's near my left hand. So these are other brushes I use every now and then, not as frequently, but these two are redundant now because I've assigned new hotkeys. But stuff, actually all of these except clay, snake hook, flatten, curve tube. I should reduce this actually because I only use about 5 of these now because the rest of them have been assigned to hotkeys. This is the important one, Alt Q. This I use all the time. Let me just get something simpler. Like Polymesh 3D, turn on symmetry. I have to mirror stuff all the time, and I don't want to go boo boo. I just don't know why. I just want to go mirror and weld, mirror, or I want to ZBrush of spam. So all of these items is stuff I collected from all over the different tabs from here. All of these tabs, which is spread out all over the place. All the stuff I use all the time is nice and concisely placed into this custom menu. And it's not perfect yet. Some things I use more than others, but I love using it. Everything feels so great. I feel completely in control. I never fumble to go, oh, I have to go dive into that menu now to find that, blah, 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 blah. So how do you make custom menus? It's super easy. Go to preferences, just tap that, because it's easier to work with, because these things disappear really easily. So you go to config. You have to enable customize. Then you go to custom UI, create new menu. Call it, I'm going to call this one test, just so I know I've got to delete. It'll appear up here, and it should pop out, change location alphabetically as soon as you click it over there. So there's nothing in there, right? Tap that. So it pops up over there, just for convenience. Now, these orange things are dividers. You can use them, I've not used them yet, but if you're really specific about your menu, you can use them as like bookends, or nothing goes here zones. So how do you use this? Well, what I do is I start at the top, subtool. Let me just make this less so it's easier to work with. And in fact, I'm going to double click that. I'm going to drag test over here. Close that. Okay. Now, what do I use all the time from subtools? Well, there's one thing, merge down. So I Control Alt, click, drag. There we go. Extract I use fairly often. You can easily I don't know what that was. Control Alt, holding down Control Alt, you can easily reorder stuff. Oops, I threw that one out, and you can't undo that, so be careful of that. This is something that is in my menu actually. Extract, thickness, accept. And so on. So it's super easy. It's stuff I recommend you have in there. I mean, everyone's different in how they work, but I use panel loops fairly often to create thickness from flat planes and their associated stuff. Now in my menu, Dynamesh, next to it, it's got delete lower and delete higher. Even if something's grayed out, you can still drag it in there. Doesn't matter. I have delete higher and delete lower next to Dynamesh, which is in a completely different menu. See, this is why the standard interface sucks balls. It's shit. It's awful. But, yeah, it's not the end of the world. With Dynamesh, like in my menu rather, is because you can't Dynamesh if you've got any subdivision levels. So I often go, oh, okay, there's subdivision levels, and I want to Dynamesh. I don't care about the lower or higher levels. Kill them. Up here is the object itself, mirror, merge, dynamic. I've only got dynamic here so I can tell if it's on or off, or it's an actual subdivision, and so on. And with Dynamesh, I've got the resolution. Let me pop this menu. This is my custom menu. It's very simple, but kill that. Collapse that. These are things I use all the time. ZBrush group, Dynamesh group, polish group. This goes hand in hand with extracting and panel loops and so on, especially with characters. These are stuff that's just randomly from everywhere I use all the time. Auto groups, close holes, double, backface mask, all super important. Maybe some stuff will get added, but there's not much else I use on a regular basis or a semi-regular basis. Basically this, hotkeys, and I generally work with tab. Does this with unfortunately I can't see that because that's fairly important to me. But I can live, you know. Just go, oh yeah, Control 1. This is super important. I've bound me. Oh, the irony. Let's append a sphere. Doesn't matter. Very often, actually no. Let's go to this scene. Got these guys. Very often I want to just work on something and I want to isolate it, which is this button. But I do not want to do that. It's just, I hate it. Just Control 1, isolate, select. It's beautiful. F is frame, that's default. Alt tap on this guy, Control 1. Just, inspect, close. Or I want to inspect this penguin teeth inside. Control 1. It's the same as my eyes, isolate, select. Control 2 is view topology, which is this button. It's not default, by the way, you've got to map it. Control 3 is transparency, and Control 4 turns that on and off. Stuff I use all the time. So it's a great way to work with big interface, blah, 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 etc. Now, what I want to say, I can't remember. Probably take a sip of wine. I've completely lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, now I remember. You cannot assign hotkeys like Control Alt and click on that. See? It doesn't say assign your hotkey. If you are in, let me kill that menu. In enable customize mode. You have to turn that off to enable hotkeys. See now? It says up there, press any key combination, blah blah blah. So just keep that in mind. Enable customize, and you can make your menu. And yeah, let's pop that back over there and show you how dividers could work. Like I wanna, that's just nothing. It's a no zone. Like if you wanna have clear separators between, I should probably start using this because it's pretty handy. That's that. Dynamic, so ZBrush. So I know which, the zones. You can make multiple menus, by the way. Oh yeah, how did I make these menus Alt Q and Alt W? Well, you simply turn off Enable Customize and Control Alt click on the menu itself and assign a hotkey, whatever you want. It's brilliant. It's so simple and fluid and beautiful. And then you can go in and do whatever the hell you want to do. I quite like that. Is that room? It's just a nice fluid way to work. I'm a big fan of hotkeys and really streamlining your workflow. I think it's important, whether it's Maya or 3ds Max or Blender or ZBrush, whatever you want to use. It's important, and it's a more pleasurable experience. So do it. Yeah, I better make sure I don't save what I've done here. So, thank you for watching. I hope you found it useful. There's plenty of videos about this out there, like Michael Pavlovich and Joseph Trust and the awesome people of Pixel Logic, but I thought I'd do one as well. Why the hell not? Good night.